Welcome back to the second hour of 8 Bits. We talked about everything that we've been playing that hasn't appeared on the PS4 and the Xbox One before the break. And JP dropped the bomb that Super Mario, the new, was it Super Mario Brothers 3D, right? What's officially
Super Mario 3D World.
3D World, Jesus. You know, they're going to Alpha plus 3.
When you released the same game since 1980.
I mean, I guess.
It's the same way with Zelda, man. It's like, what is this one called? No, it's just called Zelda. Like, that's all you have to say.
Yeah. So you dropped the bomb that it was better than anything that you had played on the Xbox One. And before any fanboys go, you know, I would say that we played through the PS4, and although we were wowed by some graphics and some of the technology within, overall, I think we can say that the grade in which all console release games get is a big fat C.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, or is that too blanket of a statement?
I think that
average. Because I might like throw Resogun in there, like that's nice, but I mean, really, I could probably play that on my PS3. You know.
Well, maybe, probably not, but
no.
It could get close to
too many of those boxes. Yeah,
too many voxels. Yeah.
Where do we want
think
to start?
The only game that breaks that statement is probably Killer Instinct.
Okay.
Killer Instinct is probably a B plus, if you had to give a stupid score, number, rating, whatever you wanted to it. And you know, I'm actually going to go out there too. I think Rise is B minus.
Okay.
I think Rise is better than that.
Let's start with Rise. Because the first thing I heard about Rise is that it's a really short game.
It took me 5.5 hours to beat on the easiest setting.
Okay.
In one sitting.
Okay. So well, people were saying it's like that's 3 hours, but 5.5 hours.
I mean, I watched every cutscene. I didn't skip it. So if you probably skipped all the cutscenes, it would probably
if you were trying, maybe.
You could probably get it done in 3 hours.
So that was probably one of the more anticipated. You know, Killer Instinct being up there, Dead Rising 3. Dead
Rising 3. It's probably a B minus as well.
Yeah,
maybe a B plus.
So maybe it was the Xbox that had a higher average as far as release titles.
I will definitively say the Xbox One has better first-party games than the PS4 at this point. I think Knack is I think Knack and Rise are the same exact game, like 100%. They are both very linear, action-oriented games that have the same combat method from the first 10 seconds that you enter into the game.
Right, until the very
end. And they are the same at the fucking final boss.
Right.
100% the exact same game. There are no tricks or anything like that in either one. I think Knack looks great. Definitely has some slowing to it. I think it runs at 1080p 30 if you're a resolution nutcase. But Rise runs at 980 or 900p 30 and looks significantly better than almost everything else on next gen apart from NBA 2K14.
Even Killzone? I mean, I still think Killzone has some of the best looking, despite the fact that the game is pretty much garbage.
Okay. I think it looks better in Killzone. It doesn't have Killzone has that weird graphic effect where everything looks like slimy or that it's wet.
Right, but then everything in Rise looks shiny, like super metallic and stuff.
That's true. That's true. I think Rise, I enjoyed my 5.5 hours with Rise, my single sit down experience. The story is not as interesting as you would want from a game that's $60, but the combat I thought was pretty cool. I didn't get tired. Had it gone 6.5 hours, I probably would have been tired of the combat. But maybe I think I might have more patience than others when it comes to that. Hell, I still think Knack is an all right time, but the combat doesn't change.
Yeah, it's pretty mindless.
But Rise I think Rise is great. It's not an A, but I had a fun time with it, and what kept me interested was the look of the game, how well it looked. It has some weird Kinect stuff, which I think we need to talk about as a separate thing altogether with that being Connect. But like throughout the game, these in the subtitles bar, these things will come up, and they're just like these one-liners that you have to like shout at the Connect. And so like one of them is like fire arrows, and like you have to shout like fire arrows, and then Connect will pick it up and arrows will fire.
Like fire arrows or fire your arrows.
Fire arrows. That's all you got to say. There's one that's catapult fire, I think was one of them, and like catapults will fire and rain down. It looks fucking awesome when it comes in, but half the time you're not even paying attention because you're like cutting some dude's arm off. I don't know if there was any. Oh, fire volley. That's what it was. Fire volley, not arrows. You say fire volley. I don't think there was any other lines that you have to say. It also does this weird thing when you get achievements. It times the game capture to when you're getting these achievements in the story. So like now on my DVR on the Xbox One, I have all these fucking Rise moments of just like nonsense happening at a big set scene. And like it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. It's got multiplayer, which is the Gladiator stuff. I have not touched that at all. But I've heard it's interesting, that it's not completely terrible, so that's good. But yeah, I think Rise was cool. I enjoyed watching how many people I could chop their arms off in a varying amount of flurry and nonsense just happening on screen. Like there's some cool shit with the different takedowns that you can do in that game. Or not takedowns, executions, where you get both people, you get two people, two is the max, and then you both get them into like the execution state where you hurt them enough to where skulls appear over their head, and then you just press like the R trigger, and it's pretty generous in where they have to actually be in relationship to you, to where it will just like shrink the game down automatically and place the models in a correct spot. And then you just start like fucking hacking away and just like taking arms off and like
that's awesome.
Like there's a couple of them where he'll hit the guy with his shield, go to stab him, and then with his sword will stab him and pick him up and throw him over you. And like he does this thing where he flies on top of you, then you take your shield and like hit him and he goes flying off into the wall or something like that. Nice. So there's definitely a lot of cool little like executions that you see 4 or 5 times throughout the game that are like, well, that was pretty cool. Like that was a fun little combat experience that was the same combat that I played 5 minutes into the game, which is usually what was running through my head in that game. Like, man, this is the same thing I was playing 5 minutes into it. Luckily, the set piece is interesting enough to keep me like playing more. So, also there's the Wicker Man in the game. He shows up. Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is in the game?
Well, the Wicker Man's in the game.
Oh, okay.
I just said it was Nicolas Cage.
I
It makes it more fun.
So Rise at least gets a B. I mean, talking on the PS4 side, and again, we did do a lot of coverage over the 24-hour period, but just throwing Killzone out there, having now gone through it.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, and it's pretty much a beautiful game that is just totally fucking average on every level, right? Except for how beautiful it looks. Yeah. And I think that's pretty indicative of what we get a lot of times out of launch titles, right? Like we want to show the beauty and all this, but it's like Killzone continues to just be that FPS that actually is it has very little merit, and it's almost always just a fucking tech demo.
Yeah,
it's almost sad to see, but again, I think more than anything is it sets up for God. This is going to be great. This is the game that gets me excited for what is beyond it.
They did a good job.
But the game itself is, I mean, it's pretty trash. It's just it's just average.
How far away were you from the end from where we stopped?
Not that far. Probably 3.5 hours. And
so all in all, it's about an 8-hour experience?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And you got to understand, like, near the end, as average as it was more like, just beat it. Just rush.
Did you have difficulty or an annoyance towards the end? Apparently, there's some level that was just, like, the god-awful worst thing in the entire game. Do you know what I'm? Is that?
Yeah, there's a couple of parts where they put you on a save and stuff. But I know what parts you're talking about, and I didn't feel like it was the worst. The problem I had the most time was with when we were outside, and I couldn't see any bad guys at all, and they were just plugging.
Yeah.
That was the most annoying thing in the game to me.
That was to go back to Rise. They did a good job of using color in the game to show you where you're going without actually pointing a fucking arrow to say go here. I felt like in Killzone, the game's so goddamn dark except for a couple set pieces in the major cities that you can't even see like people. You can't even see your enemies unless you're using that the motion 3D thing or that button where it like sends out a wave, a scanner or whatever, then it'll pop them up. I felt like that was my biggest issue with the game is it's just so dark. I haven't actually played Killzone or Knack since the 24-hour stream, just because I don't want to replay the first 4 or 5 hours that we already played that I've seen. So
yeah, I know what you mean, man.
Did Minnie beat Knack?
No, but I think he's played a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think he's played a little bit more of Assassin's Creed as well.
Did he get past that part?
Yeah.
That's good.
He did.
I bought it on the PC with Assassin's Creed, and I'm about 8 hours in, 9 hours in. That game's ship combat, dude, is fucking amazing.
Well,
it's so fun.
So that's where it started picking up for me a little bit. There are some grindy elements to it that I guess what it is, but
my brother's I think about 40 or 50 hours into the game.
Oh my god.
He's fighting the legendary ships, which are just like these the level. You remember when we were fighting like level 20 and like 30 and stuff like that? These are level 100. They're like these giant man of wars that are fucking amazingly huge. He said like one of the legendary ships, you fight 2 level 100 man of wars, and that he's just now getting to be able to fight them. So.
That's so ridiculous. I bet he had to fucking fight a lot of ships to get to that point.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah. I need to play that game more, but it's on the PC, and I might be getting a new graphics card soon that I got to send in for the EVGA Step Up program. So I've kind of been leaning towards more next gen stuff with the Xbox One and PS4. Did you play anything else on the PS4?
I mean, not since the 24-hour stream. Not really.
I mean, did you play any more Rivals?
No, but I watched you play a little bit more Rivals.
Oh my god, did you see me rage?
No, what happened?
Oh my god, that is. I'm done with that game. I uninstalled that game and deleted.
Oh yeah, something
everything.
About the final mission or something.
I got fucking tilted.
What happened?
I got real tilted. So there's actually a video I put it up on my YouTube of the first time that so the final race, the final mission as a racer, you can choose racer or cop.
Right.
You choose both of them eventually. Just depends on what you want to play as. So since we played as cop for the 24-hour launch, I played as racer when I got my copy of the game. The final mission is called the Grand Tour, and you literally race around the entire world that you are able to race in that game. So you go from the beach to the snow to the desert to the like Badland area to like the canyon area to the beach again. It's about 27 miles. The race usually takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. I haven't completed it and probably won't because I don't think I'm ever going to go back to that game. But it starts to become very apparent about 10 minutes into that mission that the entire difficulty curve of that game is the AI just spawning in front of you, just cars dropping down from the sky as you go by them, and they're like spawning into the world. These are the cops, right? So it's not all that difficult. And then as I'm driving, I'm just minding my own business. I'm in first place. Like, as long as I don't wreck, I'm going to win. All of a sudden, I go across this intersection, and I have video proof of this. The fucking car just skyrockets into the air just for no reason. I just hit a giant bump.
Oh my God.
I was fucking furious when it happened. I raged real hard when it did that. And of course, the car damage goes into the red. And then when I land, I don't have any. There's no speed or whatever, right? Because I'm just.
So everyone's just like.
So then, like 10 cop cars just fucking ram into you, and I get wrecked. I'm like, all right, well that's.
Oh fuck.
Fuck that. And then it wasn't even the worst. So then I get past that because I let one of the other racers go in front of me. He hits this random imaginary wall in the same exact place, goes flying into the air. I just go right by. So I don't know if it's like a texture that's not loading in that you can't see.
Well,
or
remember
what?
when I got stuck in the grass that one time?
Yeah, that happened to me a couple times.
Yeah, like that. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm like 95% through this race on
man.
On like Wednesday or something. I've been racing for like 30 minutes. I'm really, really like on edge, really tilted because I'm trying so hard, focusing so hard. And I take a turn, and I forget exactly the course of the events that occurred, but the cops just, for some reason, all of a sudden get unlimited powers just at the end of that level. Like, just like EMP lock after
forever.
Like shockwave after bumping into you and knocking you off the road. And in about 4 seconds, I went from full HP to dead when 10 cop cars just surrounded me and utterly destroyed me. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm done. I just quit right there. Like, the difficulty in that game is so lazy, and the developers are so lazy that they relied on spawning AI and like giving them no cooldown timers on their fucking weapons.
Sucks.
I was so upset, man. I was so upset when that happened.
That's seriously just like the dumbest shit ever, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really sad because I every time I tuned in, I'm like, God, JP's actually, it looks like he's enjoying it, and I love
loving it. I was
single player. Yeah,
it was my favorite game of next gen prior to that final level. I got to the final level, and now I just hate that game. Like, I won't back to that game.
Well,
but I was having an amazing time with that game. It was so much fun. Like, I still feel that game understands what an arcade racer should be
right.
Is when it comes to like, there's a full hairpin turn, and like you just fucking drift around it, and it's got some like house or some big bass music in the background as you're doing it, so it fucking feels great. Like, the music is perfect for that game. They did a very good job selecting the right songs. That all feels great. And then you hit that final level, and it's just a giant fuck.
It becomes the Dark Souls of driving games suddenly. and you know, it is kind of sad because there's a lot of stuff they did right in that game. You know, as even someone who doesn't like driving games, I can give it its props just because that's what would bring me into it, like having a more interactive experience with people. But that's what will honestly get me away from it, is stupid shit like that happening.
Yeah.
So.
Someone in the chat says, what do you think of Paradise City? If they simply said Paradise City next gen, like that was the game, like,
so
it's a perfect game. I think Paradise City was the best Burnout game. Yeah, I will go that far. Even though it doesn't have
no man. The last Burnout game with Crash mode.
Sorry, yeah.
Was the best. And even though Paradise has the L1, L2, or R1, L1 going to like, it wasn't the same. It was actually like dumb, where your car just rolled around and silly and shit.
Yeah,
like,
that was good fun. If they do that next gen too, I'm all for that. I'll play the shit out of that.
Like, Burnout Crash mode was some of the most fun I had.
I think that was Burnout 3. Was that the last one?
Burnout Revenge?
Yeah, maybe that was it. The Burnout games and the latest Need for Speed games, since Criterion is now, I think, an EA-owned studio, they get sense of speed. They understand how to make the player feel like he is going fucking 200 miles an hour, taking a turn, and like making a crazy, awesome racer.
Yep.
On the flip side, let's talk about Forza.
Yeah.
This is a game that I'm not the biggest racing fan, especially when it comes to simulation racers. In fact, I would go go as far as saying that I do not enjoy them at all. I'm racing in Forza. I guess you can call it racing. If it's more like, I feel like I'm going 2 miles an hour in this fucking game. I'm taking a turn, and my car starts to fucking spin out. And I'm just
look
like,
like
well,
the screenshots, man.
Yeah, I'm like, well, God damn it, my car's spinning out, and I'm going 30 miles an hour. Like, what the fuck is going on? And the entire time, it has some fucking opera bullshit, just the worst. Like, the music actually fits the gameplay where it just feels slow and sluggish. There is no like hype music in this game. It's all just like classical music, or like, I wouldn't even call it music. It's more like ambient noise occurring as you race in this game, where it's just, I cannot get behind the music in that game. Not even talking about the gameplay. So I was just bored shitless.
For a game that's so critically acclaimed, I've really seen and read a lot of complaints about fewer tracks, fewer cars. I saw the posts about the repeating spectators that looked totally ridiculous, by the way. It really did look like something out of...
I haven't seen that yet.
No?
It just, what does it just have, like copied, pasted spectators?
Yeah. Let me see if I can just Forza 5 spectators.
I haven't played the game enough to shit on it that bad yet, I think.
Yeah, here it is. I think that I'll see if I can find it. So you were kind of excited for this game, right? Oh, this is hilarious.
I wouldn't say excited. It was more, I was interested in a game that was going to be running at 1080p 60 that has always looked as good as Forza has looked. So let me see this.
So here is basically the shot.
Wait,
at the reveal.
What the fuck? Wait, what is the current?
The current is apparently what's in the game. Did you?
That's really what they look like? What the hell? Is that real?
I mean, I haven't played it. You'd know better than I would.
I guess I haven't. I don't know if I've been to a level where there are crowds, or enough to actually notice. That looks ridiculous.
I'm still not convinced this isn't maybe fake, but
I mean, I could fire it up right now, but man, that looks
apparently not.
Whew, that looks weird. I thought.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Some guy says, just in case you think it's fake, look at the details between these two shots. Right, so this was the reveal. And, you can see people. They definitely were all animated. And then here is...
that was probably done on the PC.
And then here is what it actually is.
Oh, my God.
Which, yeah, you can see the cutout people and the repeating people and stuff.
I wonder if they had to kill those people to keep 1080p 60.
I don't know.
Because those don't even look animated.
Yeah.
And I bet you the reason that you noticed that they were that poorly rendered or cardboard cutout and whatnot is because you're going 70 by them, but it actually feels like you're going 2 miles an hour. That's still, I don't know. Like, the game, it's not a bad game by any means, but it's just, it doesn't have the sense of speed that I want from a racing game. And if you want like all the simulation stuff, the line, the actual difficulty in driving driving a car in a simulation racer, it definitely has that. It's got a good amount of cars. I don't like that. So like, this game was pitched to me as having like a wide open, like you don't have to qualify for the next set of cars or the next set of events in another division, I guess is the best way to say that. So like, you don't have to wait till the end of the game to play the exotic cars, right? That's what I'm getting at.
You don't.
So I'm like, okay, sweet. I'll go play in the exotic series and race like a fucking McLaren P1 or whatever. And I'm like, this is great. I'm excited to see like how fast this car goes. I go into the car section, like, please purchase this car. I'm like, okay, cool. They're just gonna let me buy a car. No, I actually have to have 2 million credits to buy a car in this division before I can ever race in it. So there's no chance in hell unless I buy the microtransaction.
So it is like ridiculous microtransactions.
Yeah, if you want to just jump to that, yeah, like you would have to buy the I don't know, Forza points or whatever the fuck they're called. I'm not sure what they're called in the game.
Now, how long do you think it would take you to grind that out? If you were like, well, I'm not going to spend a goddamn
I
dime.
had in my course of playing it on launch day, which was about an hour and a half, I had 90,000 credits, and the car was like 2 million.
So if you were really into the game,
It would take. You could probably do it in like a day or two.
buying the car is a part of the realism experience. Well, guys, just put on a down payment and took out a loan so I could buy a new car in Forza 5. Now, is Forza the only one that suffers from this?
For microtransactions?
Yeah. Because I heard all the games are kind of like...
Microtransactions are pretty rampant in every single Xbox One game. They're not needed. Oh yeah, you can. That's the funniest part is, yeah, you could totally buy gold and Rise for like 10. I think it's like 99 cents, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50. I think is the scale. But it's hilarious in Rise because there's no point. There's just no point. You gain. I use the XP. You can choose like what type of execution you want to get. So I always did the XP one because why not, right? You always want to level faster. And I almost got every unlock that I wanted to before I was halfway done with the game. So there was no point at all to buy this microtransaction.
So a lot of people are saying they're testing the microtransaction models. Well,
I think that's what they've come out and said. Yeah.
I think it's more like gauging response and getting you used to seeing them in the games. And that's a little scary. No, come on, dude. You can't blame League for microtransactions. Like, let's be honest, that shit was happening way before then.
Yeah,
way before then.
I don't really have much else to say about Forza. Like, it's not a bad game. It's just not a game for me.
Sure.
It's too simulation based. But to jump on a Killer Instinct, like,
yeah, because this is where microtransactions sort of make sense. And I've been asking people, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Most people say I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Like, so the game is free to play. You can I downloaded the game. The first thing I did was actually download Killer Instinct. You get Jago for free each week. They're gonna have rotating characters in there, so it's not always going to be Jago. You have access to everything else in the game apart from the characters for free. You can buy characters for $6, $5.99, which seems a little bit high to me, considering that you can buy all the characters, get 6 now, 2 more later, for $20.
See that? So that was the question I was gonna have, because so that's how I probably.
If you're gonna buy one character, don't spend $15 more and get all of the characters. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. There's no. I don't see the school of thought that is like, I should just spend $6 and get this character.
I could see the school of thought of someone going, here's my. I think it's brilliant, JP, because here's my philosophy. I played Killer Instinct. I played one character, and that character was Fulgore. So if I was to go and get it, I would probably just immediately go, I'm going to get Fulgore, because I don't even know if I'll play the other guys. But then, your buddy comes over. He's like, what the fuck, man? Why don't you have Orchid available, And then I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll just buy it. They actually got me, right? Like, they got me a little bit. That's smart. And then maybe people are like, oh, I'll just try some characters. Right? Just, that one is free. I'll get it. And so they're always getting someone to maybe pay that little bit extra. I don't know. It's smart.
I think it would be interesting to see if they allowed you to play all the characters perhaps in a practice thing where you were just playing like a body that was standing there. I think that would be a cool thing to do, because then you would get people interested in a character. They could see if they actually wanted to buy it by just playing around and see if they like the moveset or if they like how the character handles, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe it'll also detract people from buying, because they could just jump in there and like seeing which one they wanted instead of buying the $20 pack. But
I like that idea of sort of, hey, jump into training mode and play around with it, but to go online or play it in story or whatever.
To talk about the actual game.
Yes.
It is the first fighting game where I feel like I have a chance at being good. or
You want to go up against Jay Wong, is what you're saying.
Or understanding what is actually occurring instead of just being like, oh fuck, I missed that.
All right.
The first frame of blah 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 blah. Like that's all in there. That is 100% still in there. But nothing's stopping me from pulling off like a 60% damage combo and being a complete idiot when it comes to fighting games.
Right, right.
Like
So
they're not.
You're
not
playing
difficult.
pad?
I don't. The sticks are actually fucking hard to find.
Can anyone? You can't just plug in my 360 stick, right? Like that won't.
No, none of the 360 sticks work. You have to have an Xbox One. Hard. I think it's the.
I feel like I'm just gonna throw my sticks fucking against the wall. Like.
Yeah.
I almost.
There's
feel
people that
pissed.
there's some way to people have been modding Xbox 360 controllers to work on an Xbox One, but I'm not sure that process or how it works.
I don't think it's really Mad Cat's fault. I'm sure they would love.
Oh no,
Legacy.
Mad Cat's wasn't like, all
I'm
right,
sure they're like,
we'll support this game,
yeah,
but
like,
you have to make sure everyone buys this new thing.
That sucks. Yeah, and then they're like, oh man, hey guys, Microsoft said it's not our call. So,
yeah, and I was talking with Mark, man, briefly. Like, they've been sold out for quite some time. The sticks. I've been trying to actually get one because it's obviously going to be much better than playing with an actual controller.
Sure.
But they're hard to find. I can't get them. So maybe I'll have to wait till 2014. I think they go on sale on Amazon on like the 13th of December, so I might try to get one then. Because right now you can only buy them through the Mad Cat store. The other thing that it does well that I think no other fighting game has done well is it has 30 or is it 60? Maybe it's 60. 60 lessons. So like Street Fighter had this where it was you would load into like a training session and it would put the moves or the combo list there for you to do. And then you would do them and it would like move on to the next one, right? So you could like learn the combos of the characters. And this one, it actually teaches you mechanics of fighting games by going through these lessons. And so I have a pretty good understanding of a lot of shit that I'd had no idea how it worked in fighting game. Like, I don't know, just across all fighting games.
Sure.
Is the best way to say that.
Like terminology and how to actually execute.
And like how footsies play into this,
Sure.
or what in this game what
it's
an
about
opener
time,
is.
right?
Yeah, it's smart. This is what exactly is needed. It's 32 missions, right? It's 16, 4 rows. I think 4 rows of 4. No, there's two things. I don't know. However many lessons there are, there's that many lessons. But it is incredibly smart that they put that in there. Apparently, Skullgirls had it had it before, but it doesn't matter. Like Killer Instincts is what I'm talking about. But I understand for the most part everything in that game. That's not to say I can do everything that it was telling me, because I just don't have the muscle memory down like everyone else does. But it evens the playing field from someone completely new to that genre, picking up the game and fighting against someone who has all of this stuff inherently already in their mind,
right?
And it can do right now without having to think about it.
Not that it's going to like make you a god, but I mean, like, we talk about education and all this. Yeah.
Even the little information fucking helps. And they have all of the they have all of the frame data and hitboxes on the free version. And you can even go into like the practice mode and see all of this frame data. Like they box it for you and like have detailed things, which to me means absolutely fucking nothing. But to someone who is a fighting game player, means a whole shit ton too, because they can go in there and like start working on whatever they want to work on. And I think the game is also very smart with how it does its combos, because there aren't set combos. The players can.
It's sort of free flowing.
Yeah, they can create their own combos. Granted, there are those combos that are like the 60 or 70% damage that people have started to. I think there's a 97% damage combo with like Thunder or some shit, which is crazy. If you can actually,
assuming that like no one combo breakers or anything.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing too, is with all these fighting games, everyone's always talked about like how fighting games are amazing because of the the different like mind games you can play, right? And that's always a buzzword with fighting games is, oh, he's mind gaming him right now. And the casual player looks at that and he's like, he's fucking punching him. Like, there's no mind games going on. In this game, you can actually see them happening on the screen because when they're in a combo and you go to break their combo, it'll either pop up a yellow exclamation point over your head, which means that you had the right attack to counter their attack.
I saw that.
Or it'll pop up a red one, which means that you misjudged and it was actually a strong kick where you were hitting the medium kick and it locks you out to cancel their combo, which is really smart. Like that's awesome to see that stuff because now when that happens, I understand that player fucked up inherently rather than the commentator telling me,
right,
that guy fucked up because of this. Like I just know that he did that. So I'm pretty impressed with that game, with everything that it does. And it was also really fun to watch Maximilian. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, sure.
He is fucking godly at that game. He went on a 112 win streak the other day on Twitch.
And then you jinxed him, didn't you?
Yeah, and I tweeted, I was like, oh my God, this guy's on 112 streak, and then he died the next round.
Damn it, JP, you had one job.
Well, he was kind of showboating too because he let the guy get him down a full bar and was like sandbagging him a little bit. He's like, all right, now let's take him out, and then he ended up missing a combo breaker at the end and locked him out, and the guy finished him from like 30% or something like that. But it was pretty cool. He's fucking real good at that game, and I might actually keep playing it. Like I'm having a good time with it.
Good. No, I mean I've definitely heard people say, "Hey, it's good." You know, the Jay Wong tournament. Well, I say the Jay Wong tournament because he won.
Yeah.
But that had a lot of people show up to it. Like it's just good that there's that.
They've been having a lot at what the weekly tournaments or not really tournaments, but like streams that they have for the like Wednesday night fights. They were playing it there.
Right.
I think Valle was playing last night on like the rundown or the runaway or something, some level up stream. He was playing it. And it just seems like everyone's having fun with it. Like in the fighting game community, I think a lot of people that have no relationship with the fighting game community like myself and just people playing the game for free is great. And it's also really fucking weird if you think about it that it's a launch game for a major platform is a fighting game. Like when has that happened? The last time that
Battle
happened
Arena Toshinden.
It was Killer. Was PlayStation 2 out before 64?
I think. I don't think it was.
There was Killer Instinct Gold for the 64. Was a launch title.
Yeah, but that game was like out, right? Like that was just, you know.
It was out in the arcades. This was
right.
Yeah, Battle Arena Toshinden was the PS1, not PS2.
Although that might have been an arcade as well. They just ported over. I don't know.
It's a weird thing that they decided to launch with that. But I'd be very interested to see the amount of Xbox One owners that have downloaded it because it is a free game.
Now that'll be really interesting when they release those numbers.
Who knows if we ever see them? I really don't know. Like, I don't think those factor into MPD numbers because you're not actually buying anything.
Yeah. Let's talk maybe really quickly on Dead Rising 3, and then let's talk about like the technology. You know, the Kinect,
sure.
the PlayStation camera.
Dead Rising 3 is a very simple game to describe. It's a dumb game. It's the dumbest game.
You know what? It makes me so angry that they didn't just call this like zombie guy, you know, and they used the fucking franchise because Dead Rising is an amazing franchise, and I feel like this didn't do it.
I think it. I mean, I wasn't the biggest Dead Rising 2 or Dead Rising 1 fan, but this game's great. Like it's awesome. I love wading into 400 zombies that are all on screen. Sure, it's 720p 30, blah 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 resolution, blah blah blah. But it doesn't dip. Like I can go in there and fucking obliterate 500 zombies that are all on screen at the same time, and I never see a frame dip, which to me is impressive. Like that, it is an aspect of next gen that
you're excited about.
and I'm excited about.
Because it can push it to the limit.
A lot of people are. I meant dumb, like it's the good kind of dumb. It's taking a fucking dildo and putting it with a leaf blower, and you're shooting dildos at zombies. Like that's the type of dumb this game is.
So they've almost said, you know what? Dead Rising 1 and 2 was kind of goofy. It's time to go full on Saints Row in this motherfucker.
Oh,
Is that what it feels like? Because I mean,
well, no, they had like that same nonsense in DR1 and DR2. Did they not?
but not. It was like it was never shooting dildos at a. You know, it was like put on this Mega Man head. You know, it was and even in 2, it was like attach a chainsaw to a boat row. You know, an oar, and then you have it. But
that's all there.
It did have some silliness, but it never went Saints Row silliness. And I feel like this is the game where they're like,
a little bit.
Time for Saints Row silliness.
No, I wouldn't say in the actual story. The actual story is still pretty.
Is there Zombrex?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's still quote unquote serious in that regard. But I can still at any point walk up to a motorcycle and one of those giant rolling pin cars and hold down B, and then it combines the two without any extra animation, and a new car just spawns, and I can jump in and like roll over people. Like,
all right. So really I'm definitely going to want to play this one when I get my Xbox One.
Oh yeah. I would say this is this is probably the one game that you do want to play besides Killer Instinct.
Okay.
Because I don't think you're gonna like Rise.
No, I'll get Rise sometime when it's like in a fucking $2.99 bin somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And they have stuff like the Blanca mask, and if you beat the game on Nightmare, I believe you get Mega Man's like power blaster weapon or whatever, or some shit like that. I did find, or I guess, the Giant Bomb guys found a way to hit level 50 very, 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 very quickly. And they're calling it the Caravella method. It's some weapon called the Ultimate Death Sith, I think is what it's called. And like the weapons have a amount of use that you can use them, right? But when you hit people with X, which is the light attack in this one, it repairs this. And then when you do Y, it's this giant widespread attack that like shoots out these grenades that explode. So you can just constantly kill, and it also regenerates your life for every person you kill.
Great.
So you're just walking around just fucking destroying everything. And I got up to like an 847 combo is my highest right now. They got up to like 1,040 something, or like some crazy number. So it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying that game. I haven't beaten it yet. I haven't gotten into I'm like in day 3 of 7 or something like that. But I definitely will complete that game in due time. I'm having a good time with it.
Awesome.
It's one of the games I can just load into and just be like, fuck it, I want to kill some zombies, and that's what I do.
That's good. That's important to have.
Yeah.
So let's chat the tech, right? Because both are out now. One of the most shocking things for me was learning that the PS4 doesn't play 3D Blu-rays. We uncovered this during the PS4 live stream, which was shocking to me because obviously it meant that suddenly I had to keep my PS3 downstairs, and that was kind of sad a little bit. But let's talk about the camera tech, because you were like, man, I really like the Kinect. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And, I was pretty impressed with what the PlayStation camera did. So
yeah.
Tell me what you think.
When it works, it is the single best technology that I've used in a very long time. When I have to say it 5 times in a row and I look like a fucking idiot talking in this box above my TV, I can't stand it. But when it works, it is truly incredible. Like, it makes me so lazy as a gamer that I will sit there and yell at this thing until it fucking works. Because I can operate everything on the console with the Kinect. Like, I don't want to say it now because it's gonna fucking turn on if I do, because I have it plugged in. But like, I can turn on my console, I can jump to any game I want at any point of doing anything on the console. I can just jump to it by saying the name of the console, then go to that game. I can load up Netflix and operate the entire menu in Netflix because you could say Xbox Select, and what that does is it pops up. It basically takes everything on the screen and gives it a name. So select 1 through whatever. And you can choose whatever you see. So like basically you could say what you want, I think is the tagline that they're going with. You can say more info or next page. It'll go to the next page. And that type of stuff is great. It just every now and then it'll struggle with what I'm trying to say. And it's the most annoying fucking thing. I've got my Kinect up it's actually above my TV. So it's about probably like 6.5 feet up in the air, and it's angled down on me. It's right next to my fan, so I don't know if the fan is blowing air right on top of the mic, and that's messing with some of the points where it doesn't communicate that well. But I would say if I have my speakers turned off, if I have my headphones on, there's no other noise going on in the room or outside of my room, it works about 80% of the time, maybe a little bit higher. If I've got music going or I've got my speakers on and there's stuff happening outside, it goes down to around 50, 60. But when it works, like I said, it's fucking incredible. Like,
so, I mean,
really
we played around with it a little bit on the PlayStation. I haven't really used it since, because I guess I'm just the kind of person that's like, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
well, it's not in your face on the PlayStation, right? It's something that's kind of behind the scenes.
I got you. So,
but this, it's everywhere. Like, I will say that the PlayStation's menu, for my taste, is far and away a billion times better than the Xbox One. The Xbox One has this bullshit Metro nonsense that is prevalent in every fucking menu and every fucking thing that you do on the Xbox One. And I'm talking about like the Microsoft Metro shit where it's Windows 8. Right. Or it's like these window panes that are, and it's just rampant across everything. It's in all of the games. It's in every menu that you go into. The dashboard is menu upon menu upon menu buried within another menu. Like, it's just menus for days. And I think that's where the Kinect really comes into play, is the fact that I can skip all of that bullshit and just say, go to this, and it'll skip all of that and just go straight to the app that I want it to do. And that's when it, like I said, when it works, it's awesome. When it doesn't, you're fucking yelling it. You can tell when someone's doing it because the tone of voice changes. The first one, it's very like simple. It's just like, the Xbox do this. And then the second one's like saying more direct and clear. It's like, Xbox, do this. Then the third one, it's you're like, Xbox,
I'm going to come over there and smack you.
Yeah. That's like the 3 tones. And every time I do it, I notice it right off the bat. Yeah, exactly. It makes you want to use it, to steal Kamikaze's comment from the chat. But there's just a lot of stuff that I hate about the fucking dashboard, and it's almost everything I see.
I've heard,
because it's all terrible.
Others say that. Now, I want to ask about something, because we are starting to get to the end of the show. I want to make sure I fit it in here. One of the things you were talking, you were like, yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing the Kinect stuff, and the fitness stuff was one of the things.
Yeah,
because that was supposed to, like, you know, fully use your three. Have you looked at any of that yet, or even fucked around?
I don't have the best room for that.
Okay.
So where it's at right now, it'll pick everything, but it cuts off at my feet. But if I'm like running, it'll actually pick my feet up. It does a full scale, like it looks at your body and will sense, to the best of its ability, which does a pretty good job, what your skeletal frame is. And then it tracks that as you're doing this. So you can load up, like, I think I loaded up Insanity, the plyometrics workout or some shit like that for the first 3 minutes. And I'm like watching the video, and it has your little, much like any other Kinect game, it has the little black box there showing what it's seeing. And you start to do the workout, and like, I fucked around with it where I was like using my hands and not really doing the full motion that it was asking me to do, and it was rating me poorly. And then if I picked my like ankles up almost all the way, or like was actually fully running, it would start to score me better. And I think the fitness stuff is, if they market that correctly, it is the biggest selling point that the Xbox One has. Like, it is really, really, really well done. It rates against all of your friends if you want it to. It scores you.
Does it actually read your pulse and shit?
Yeah, it'll keep all that shit in store if you want it to. And the fact that it tracks you is like pretty fucking rad. Like, I know a lot of people that are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in on that Xbox One fitness because they've done it for, I don't know, 5 minutes, and like, this is actually really good. And it does a good job of something that, if you've ever done those workout programs by yourself, you start to get a little bit lazy and your form starts to deteriorate or whatever. The Xbox One will be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're going to start poorly with this shit. And then you're like, oh, it adds another sense of gaminess to it, to where it's not just a workout. And so I think it's pretty cool. The one thing that I don't like is that they seem to just throw fucking like everything in there. And there's no like really full workout plans. It's only little splices of from what I've seen. Like, I thought that it was going to be the full like the full insanity workout. So it's like,
but
I think
it's like, here's a something
like 9 DVDs. Yeah. So the only one that I could find was the plyometric workout. I don't know. I don't know if it's in there or it's buried under there or what. So yeah, Xbox Fitness is pretty dope.
All right.
It's pretty cool.
So one of the other things that's come up that's been kind of interesting is, of course, people like cameras in the living room. What about piracy? Yeah. And I've seen multiple instances of people getting like messages come up in NBA or other sports games where they're like, hey, man, you need to tone it down a little bit, almost in a sort of joking fashion. But then there was this stuff that came out about people were getting, I don't know if it was necessarily banned, but they were getting, not banned, something was happening. They were getting messages because they were cursing.
Really?
And in private Skype conversations as well, like people were getting 24-hour suspensions, people were getting. So,
I saw those, but I didn't read those posts. I've not done a Skype call on the Xbox One. I should have done the show today from the Xbox One. That would have been cool. Maybe we'll do that next time. Anyways, so people were getting banned for what they were saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to let me see if I can bring this one.
So like,
up.
if someone uses their Kinect to fucking like do a webcam show or some shit, are they gonna ban them?
Xbox One Upload Studio users temporarily banned for swearing.
Okay, well that makes sense. That's users uploading their own videos, and it's probably got some filter where it's reading what the person's saying and banning them for that. It is a little bit shitty that you can't say fuck on a video, but I mean it's their policies that they want to uphold in that.
Okay, so they it's unclear whether this private Skype conversation actually happened, right? So as I'm reading it, and fair enough to give them credit. It says the company does not monitor them, but excessive profanity in upload studios will result in suspension. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, I mean that's their policy. They can do what they want with that.
They can. They can. Watch yourself.
Some of the stuff that's broken, the party system. Talk about a fucking absolute piece of shit. And I think both consoles actually fucked up with this. Like, the Xbox 360 had such a perfect party system and everything.
Yeah,
so
why would you screw it
why
up?
would you change
right?
it? And it's just, God, it is so fucking terrible. It's just, from my understanding, you have to do this snap bullshit. And have you seen this? Do you understand what the snap thing is?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen. In fact, someone tweeted earlier they were playing a game and they were able to snap and watch, our show at the same time, which is pretty cool.
If you can actually, awesome. If you can bring that up, I will show you why it is not awesome.
Okay. Well, it's on my Twitter, so let me find it here. Okay. I'm bringing it up. We're gonna see. JP is about to show us why it's not awesome. So here we go.
Okay. So as you can see, it's about 1/5 of the full screen is this Snap-in app. It's he snapped the Twitch app from what it looks like in this picture, and it that like look at that viewing experience. That is god fucking awful. It shrinks your game into this weird letterbox bullshit that doesn't use the full screen. You're losing like
there is a lot of space. Like it would be cool if it was more of a picture-in-picture aspect.
Exactly. You're losing like 40% of your screen right there. On the other side, you're using maybe 20% of the entire thing. And you can say switch. So when that first comes up, when you're in a game and you say Xbox Snap, whatever, it switches its priority in terms of what you control with the controller over to what is snapped right when you snap it in. So if you're in a game and it snaps over, you lose complete control of the game, which is pretty annoying to begin with. Granted, you can just switch back by saying Xbox Switch, or the easier method, which is tapping the guide button twice, and that'll swap you back over.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know in what world that snap thing is useful for a viewing experience. Like people are like, oh, I can bring up Netflix on there. It's like, you don't want to watch a Netflix movie in a fucking small little 2-inch box. Like, what is the point of that?
That's so weird.
And the other thing too is you can't, when it comes to music, there is no background music in this entire OS suite. The only way you can play music is through Xbox Music, and it has to be snapped.
So they kind of get some of the same marks against them that the PS4 gets as well.
Yeah, they said that they supported MP3s and whatnot. I don't know where that's supported. I don't know if it's not in there yet or what. I have not found it. I just think it's really fucking annoying that I can't listen to music in the background. I have to always have it snapped.
Yeah, that's kind of...
And the only thing that it's doing, Wheat, is showing you a time bar, and it has these rotating images that slowly zoom in on the artist's face in the snap menu. And so like I was listening to like Calvin Harris or something. So it's like a picture of him that he like posed for, and it's just this slow fade in on his face as the music plays.
Interesting.
And you cannot unsnap it and run it in the background. If you unsnap the music, it stops the music. They really need both. I think
much they got right, but so much they still have yet to work on.
And I think that is true for both systems. I don't want to just shit on the Xbox One. Like, I think both systems have a lot to work on when it comes to the OS.
Yeah.
And the features that it delivers, and hopefully they'll work on that stuff, because right now there are some glaring issues with it.
I think they will. I think that both systems are obviously, in preparing for something like this, it's difficult, but I think that both systems launch and immediately get feedback on what is good and what isn't, and we'll change, change accordingly.
They need to think about the different terms that you can say. Like, what was I was saying something during the ride. It was, I think I was saying like, I think I said stop me or something. And every now and then the Xbox, like the Kinect will fucking be like, what was that? What did you say? Like, did you say Xbox? You want to talk to me? Like,
no, go away. It's like that.
Like, stop listening. Stop. Please, just fucking go away. Stop. Oh yeah, that's right. It said fuck. I said fuck these pots, and it said Xbox does what? Like Xbox. What do you need? What's up, bro? And I'm like, fuck these pots. It's like, what's up, bro? Did you call me?
That's good.
Oh man, it was really, really frustrating when that was happening. And it's happened more often than not.
Yeah. So
it is a little bit annoying what words it's catching. I guess it's just listening for something that is similar to Xbox, so that it'll pick it up when you actually want to use it. I don't know.
That new technology.
Yep. Right. Oh, yeah. And then I said Xbox smoke weed and it formed a party. That was really weird, too. I didn't understand that.
That might be intentional. You don't know. The hidden Easter eggs of the Xbox One. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right. Well, I mean, I'm really excited. I will be getting an Xbox One here sooner than I thought. But, I'm excited to still play it. Obviously, I think the next few months is where we're really going to see the consoles sort of come to, but You know, they have their flaws to be expected, but overall, I think the launches went really well. I've read plenty about failed hardware on both sides, but I don't feel like there's necessarily an epidemic to.
Man.
Although I've been reading a lot about the PS4, people talking about it running really hot, but you know, we had 23 hours and.
Yeah, mine doesn't run too bad. I do want to give on the topic of hardware failing, a huge shout out to John Bratberg, who was the winner of the PS4 that I gave away.
Congrats.
It shipped to him dead on arrival. Like, you gotta fuck
no. Are you shitting me?
I'm dead serious. And he's like, well, I talked to Sony and they're going to send me a new one. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm so sorry that you're having issues with it. He's like, but I'm going to lose your signature. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Because he had me sign the PS4.
Well, maybe and that's why Black Box.
Sony's going to get like a signed PS4. They're going to be like, who the fuck? Fuck this guy. What the fuck is this shit?
That's pretty funny.
So huge shout out to him. Sorry about that. But I think we ended up raising like $4,800. So it's pretty good. It's definitely more than I was expecting.
Nice. Kick ass. Word. That's pretty much going to round out this episode of 8-Bits. I think we're going to be getting back on schedule. I only have 1 week here in December where I'm actually going to be traveling, but even then we might be able to work something out. But next week looks to be in the clear, as that'll be the first week of December. We'll probably have more to talk about. Them video games.
Yeah, what is anything? I think like all the games are out now, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 things that surprise us over the next few weeks. I know there's some mobile things coming out here that are kind of a surprise that'll be soon. But yeah, I think for our major releases, I think we're.
Well, next Friday will be one day before the VGX show, so we can talk about what can be like. It's going to be rumored to be showed there, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure that's going to be all the news, and I'm sure there will be some big stories that break. I think we overlooked or didn't talk about the Playroom thing, which kind of blew up, which I think obviously you're a little bit more related by proxy to, rather than. Just because you work at Twitch, you had nothing to do with anything that was going on.
Right.
So that was a little bit interesting that we didn't maybe cover that next week if it's still being talked about. A lot of people seem to be wanting to hear about that. So apart from that, I don't think there's it might be a slow month, but we'll see. I got to finish all these fucking games still. So I've got Knack, Killzone, Dead Rising, Forza. Is that it?
You gotta get
Super Mario, Zelda. Got a lot of games to play, so I'm happy.
Start playing Zelda, man. I'm excited. All right,
you gotta play it.
You want to wrap us? Start it.
Yeah. What is today? Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
I might stream later tonight. I recorded a full-on like hour and 20 minutes of Xbox One stuff last night, just kind of giving my thoughts and showing off all the good and bad. And then XSplit was like, all right, I got all that, but at 500 bit rate. So here's your 1080p 500 bit rate video. And I was just like, well, that's not going to work. So I'll probably re-record that tonight when I get my voice to rest after the show.
That sucks.
Yeah. But it's good because now the thing about doing that is when you do that for like an hour and 15 minutes and it's all off the cuff, you can actually
know what you
skip that down to like an hour because you're not just going to be rambling or trying things or trying to get your point across in a bad form. So I'll record that tonight. I've already got one up on the PS4. We've got Roleplay Eben and Roleplay D&D VODs coming out. Might be a 4th Roleplay coming down the pipeline. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see. We'll have some more details on that. Dark Heresy maybe next Saturday. I got to talk with everyone, see if we can get that into play. And
I'm in.
Next week I'm going to be doing Real Talk with Jeff Green.
So yeah, that's right. I saw about that. That'll be great. If you guys have seen Jeff Green over on the show,
it'll be good fun.
He's the bomb. Sweet.
Yep.
So I will definitely be getting back into a regular streaming schedule this week, which is nice, kind of kicking off here with 8-Bits. I think today is just going to continue to be a family day, but I also might stream later. Tomorrow, however, I will be streaming some Strife, and JP, I've already begun to get on. I'm going to get you an account so that you can play with me. So
all right, yeah, let me know.
This will happen.
I'm taking tomorrow off and Sunday off, whatever that means. Okay. So I guess I just stream, but I'll definitely play tomorrow if you get me an account.
Awesome. So I'll be playing a little bit tomorrow, some Dota on Sunday with some Strife as well, probably some StarCraft 2. You guys know how it is. Maybe some Rogue Legacy too. That's been a lot of fun. But I do have some more Strife keys to give away on Sunday for Rigged Sunday and a few other things. So hopefully you'll stop by and check that out. But other than that, it's kind of nice to be home and back in the swing of things. So
yeah, it was awesome when I got home from the 24-hour stream and I chose not to go on that final fight. I was just like, all right, I can do shit. Like,
yeah, let's get her done.
I can actually do things. Someone actually, I forgot to say, probably doing a state of the game in December sometime. So whenever that gets locked in, whenever we choose a date and all that nonsense, I'll let you guys know.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's another episode of 8 Bits. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Again, happy holidays to anyone who celebrated this week. Otherwise, happy DreamHack viewing, I guess, because that's the other big holiday that seems to be going on. But anyway, we'll be back next week for some more 8 Bits. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.